In November 2020, Skateboarding New Zealand gathered up the best of Aotearoa's competitive skateboarders for a long weekend of shredding, coaching and mentoring. The COVID pandemic had stolen the chance to qualify for Tokyo 2020 from these young athletes. The Asia and Oceania qualifying events had been cancelled. Alternate contests were being run in Europe and the Americas, but the costs and moreover the logistics of travelling at that time meant that it just wasn't an option. The weekend drew talent from every corner of the country. Leonard Tejada, Theo Clark, Kato Dobbs and Billy Morrison represented Auckland. Bowman Hansen and Ria and Remus Hanare came north from Taupo. Matt Markland, Gala Boundfield and Josh Wilson covered Wellington. Niwa Shuri is New Plymouth's finest. Krista Ashwell hails from Christchurch and Zedon Fellows flew up from Wanaka. So, this camp served as a substitute, bringing all of the Olympic hopefuls together for the first time to introduce them to each other and, critically, expose them to the levels of professionalism they'll need to reach if they want to become Olympians. Gala is one of them.
I'm Gala Bournefield and I'm 18 years old. I'm from Wellington, NZ. I discovered skateboarding when I was really little. I went to a coin save store and found this little miniature skateboard and wouldn't stop playing with it. And so I got it for Christmas and then just kind of like started messing around with it, but probably got into it a bit later on. The hardest thing about skateboarding is probably, I guess, the mentality towards it. Can be quite a frustrating sport. The most influential skaters to me are probably a lot of the girl skaters. I don't know, I would say they're probably most influential to me because I guess they're girls and it's such a male-dominated sport, and being a girl who skates, it's like pretty cool to have other girls up there with the pros who you can look up to. What I love about it is the feeling you get when you land a new trick, and also the environment of it, like the people you meet. It's such a community and just a really interesting, creative sport. Yeah.
Those values are at the heart of skateboarding, a sport that until now has existed on the fringes, far from the mainstream. And in that environment, raw talent has always been enough to get by.
I'm Leonard, I'm 21. I'm originally from the Philippines, but I've lived in New Zealand since I was 7. Coming from a different country, it was like sort of hard to fit into things. So like going to a sport, trying to play a sport with like a bunch of people was like something I didn't really want to do. So skating was like real individual. So I wouldn't say natural, but I think I picked it up pretty fast. Like I learned how to ride it pretty fast and started doing tricks when I was quite young.
With skateboarding's inclusion in the Olympics though, the stakes have been raised. Things are changing. To show this to the athletes, Skateboard New Zealand brought in experts to focus on strength and conditioning, aerial awareness, goal setting, run planning, nutrition, media training, even legal and professional guidance, all the skills required off the board to make the dream work. There was no shortage of expertise on the board either, and some of New Zealand's skate legends, the likes of Chris Wood, Andrew Morrison, Shea Ataria and Dave Crabb, all helped coaching, working to help develop skills in different types of terrain, and arguably most importantly, bonding.
My name's Bowman Hansen, I'm 28 and I come from Taupo, New Zealand. I haven't done another sport that I get so much adrenaline from, and with it being a solo sport, individual sports, it still feels like a team sport with everyone around and the support that you get from everybody. So that there alone, I mean, growing up as a kid playing rugby all the time, and you know, it's hard sometimes you're benched some games and some games you play. Here you get to go every time, so I love it.
Having ripped through 5 of Auckland's finest spots, Valonia, Marlborough, Birkenhead, Barry Curtis and Grey Lynn, they finished the weekend at a monument of New Zealand skating, the Onehunga Vert Ramp, where the old dogs try to show the young guns a trick or two, and they obliged with a couple of their own. This was the first camp of many that will help lay the foundations of professionalism in a bid to get New Zealand's first skater to the Olympics for Paris 2024.